Let me ask you something. How many times have you told yourself, I'll do it tomorrow? Be honest. We've all done it. But let me tell you the brutal truth. Tomorrow is a lie. The people who achieve greatness, the people who dominate in life, aren't the ones who wait for the perfect time. They're the ones who decide that the time is now. Most people don't understand the difference between wanting something and deciding to have it. Wanting is passive, it's weak, it's full of doubt. A decision, on the other hand, is backed by certainty, commitment, and action. When you make a real decision, you no longer say, I hope I can, or I'll try. Those words disappear from your vocabulary. Instead, you declare, I will, and that changes the entire game. Think about the moments in your life that truly shaped you. Maybe it was when you decided to pursue a career that scared you. Maybe it was when you finally ended a toxic relationship. Maybe it was the moment you stood up for yourself, took a risk, or chased a dream that everyone told you was impossible. Those moments weren't about circumstances magically aligning. They were about you deciding that something had to change. People often wait for the right time. They think they need to feel ready before they act. But the truth is, waiting for the perfect moment is the biggest trap there is. The right time never comes. The stars don't align. The fear doesn't disappear. If anything, the longer you wait, the harder it becomes. The more you hesitate, the more your brain convinces you to stay comfortable. And comfort is the enemy of progress. The most successful people in the world didn't get where they are because they had everything figured out. They got there because they made a decision first and figured out the rest along the way. They understood that success isn't about knowing every step in advance. It's about taking the first step with absolute certainty. Decisions shape destiny. Every choice you make, big or small, sets a direction for your life. And the problem is, most people don't even realize they're making decisions. They drift, they react, they let life happen to them instead of stepping up and making things happen. They allow fear, doubt, or the opinions of others to control them. But the moment you take back control and decide, truly decide, to change something, your world shifts. Right now, in this very moment, you have a choice. You can keep waiting, keep hesitating, keep telling yourself the same old story, or you can make the decision, the one that will change everything, because the truth is your life is happening now, not someday, not when you feel ready, now. And the only thing standing between you and the life you want is the decision to go after it. Someday is the biggest lie we tell ourselves. It's the most dangerous word in the human language because it creates the illusion of progress while keeping us stuck exactly where we are. It's the excuse that keeps us from taking action, the story we tell ourselves to avoid discomfort, and the trap that steals our dreams. How many times have you told yourself that you'll start tomorrow, next week, next year? How many times have you pushed something important aside, convincing yourself that the timing isn't right? And yet when you look back, how many of those some days ever became reality? People live their entire lives waiting. They wait for the perfect moment. They wait until they feel ready. They wait until the fear goes away. But what they don't realize is that perfect timing doesn't exist. Readiness is an illusion. Fear never disappears. It only shrinks when you take action. The people who succeed, the people who break through, aren't the ones who wait. They're the ones who decide. They're the ones who understand that the only time that exists, the only time that ever will exist, is now. Think about the dreams you've had for years but haven't acted on. Maybe it's getting in shape. Maybe it's starting a business, writing a book, taking a trip, or having a difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Whatever it is, you've probably told yourself that you'll do it someday. And that lie makes you feel safe because it gives you permission to delay. It convinces you that you'll get to it eventually, that there's still time. But the truth is, the more you delay, the less likely you are to ever do it. Someday turns into never. The most painful thing in life isn't failure, it's regret. It's looking back and realizing you wasted years waiting for a moment that never came. It's knowing that you had the power to change your life, but you let fear, doubt, or procrastination steal that power from you. And here's the harsh reality. Life doesn't wait. Time keeps moving. Opportunities come and go. You will never get this moment back. And if you don't act now, when will you? People say they're waiting for the right conditions, but the truth is the right conditions come from action, not from waiting. The moment you start, everything shifts. Clarity comes from movement, not from overthinking. Momentum is created by doing, not by sitting on the sidelines. Every great success story begins with a person who decided to stop waiting and start acting. Right now, at this very second, you have a choice. You can keep telling yourself the same story, keep putting things off, keep believing in the illusion of someday, or you can break free. You can decide that today is the day, that now is the time, that you refuse to let another moment slip away, because the truth is someday is a lie. And the only way to take control of your life is to destroy that illusion once and for all. Nothing changes without action. You can have the best ideas, the most powerful intentions, and the clearest vision, but without action, nothing happens. Most people sit on their dreams, waiting for motivation to strike, believing they need to feel ready before they move. But that's not how success works. You don't wait for motivation, you create it. And the way you create it is through massive action. Action leads to momentum, and momentum is what separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck. The hardest part of anything is the beginning. It's getting past the resistance, the doubt, the hesitation. The first step is always the most difficult because your mind is full of reasons why you shouldn't do it. You fear failure. You overanalyze. You tell yourself you need more time, more resources, more information. But the second you take action, all of that starts to fade. Fear loses its grip. Overthinking disappears. Your mind shifts from questioning to doing, and that's when everything changes. Think about riding a bicycle. If you try to balance while standing still, it's nearly impossible. But the moment you start pedaling, everything becomes easier. That's the power of momentum. The faster you move, the easier it gets to keep going, and the same applies to every area of your life. If you're struggling to make progress, it's not because you lack ability, it's because you haven't built momentum. And the only way to do that is through consistent, relentless action. Most people start and stop, and that's why they never get anywhere. They take a few steps forward, hit an obstacle, get discouraged, and quit. Then they start over again, repeating the same cycle, never building enough momentum to break through. But the ones who succeed keep pushing even when it's hard, even when they don't feel like it. They understand that momentum is built through repetition, through showing up every single day, through refusing to stop no matter. The more action you take, the easier it becomes to keep going. Small actions lead to bigger actions. A single step turns into a sprint. The first move creates energy, and energy fuels progress. If you're waiting for motivation, stop. Motivation is a byproduct of action, not a prerequisite. The second you start, motivation will follow. Every breakthrough in history has come from someone who took massive action, not someone who sat around thinking about it. They didn't have all the answers. They didn't have everything figured out, but they started anyway. And because they started, they built momentum. And because they built momentum, they became unstoppable. If you want real change, if you want to achieve what you've been dreaming about, stop hesitating, stop overthinking, stop waiting for the perfect moment. The only way to move forward is to take massive action right now. Because the second you do, the game changes. Momentum takes over, and suddenly what once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. Pain is unavoidable. No matter what path you choose in life, there will be pain. But the question is, which pain will you choose? The pain of discipline or the pain of regret? Because one of them lasts only for a moment, while the other lingers for a lifetime. The pain of discipline is temporary. It's the early mornings, the late nights, the sacrifices, the moments of discomfort when you push yourself beyond your limits. It's saying no to distractions, stepping outside of your comfort zone and forcing yourself to take action even when you don't feel like it. It's uncomfortable, yes, but it leads to progress. Every rep in the gym, every extra hour of work, every difficult decision, it all adds up. And the more you embrace this kind of pain, the stronger you become. Eventually, what once felt painful becomes second nature. Discipline turns into a habit, and that habit transforms your entire life. Then there's the other kind of pain, the pain of regret. This is the pain that sneaks up on you. It doesn't hit immediately like the pain of discipline. It builds slowly over time. It's looking back and realizing you wasted years waiting, hesitating, playing it safe. It's knowing you had the chance to go after your dreams, but you let fear, doubt, and laziness hold you back. It's the weight of knowing that you were capable of more, but you settled for less. And unlike the pain of discipline, which eventually fades into strength, the pain of regret only grows heavier. Think about the times in your life when you wished you had acted sooner, the opportunities you missed because you hesitated, the moments you let slip away because you were too afraid to take a risk. That regret never truly disappears. It lingers in your mind, whispering, what if? What if you had pushed harder? What if you had said yes to that opportunity? What if you had believed in yourself instead of doubting your potential? That kind of pain is unbearable because there's no way to fix it. Time doesn't give second chances. The difference between the two pains is simple. The pain of discipline leads to growth, while the pain of regret leads to suffering. One makes you stronger, the other breaks you down. One is an investment in your future, the other is a debt you can never repay. The best part, you get to choose. Every day you make decisions that determine which pain you will experience. You can either push through the temporary discomfort of hard work, or you can take the easy route and suffer the long-term consequences. But make no mistake, there is no avoiding pain. The only thing you control is which pain you're willing to endure. And when you truly understand that, the choice becomes simple. Because no matter how hard the pain of discipline may seem, it is nothing compared to the unbearable weight of a life filled with regret. Your identity is the foundation of everything you do. It dictates your habits, your actions, your decisions, and ultimately your destiny. People often think success is about external factors, having the right opportunities, the right resources, or the right connections. But the truth is, success starts internally. It starts with how you see yourself, because you will always act in alignment with your identity. If you see yourself as someone who struggles, someone who never follows through, someone who isn't capable, then no matter how much effort you put in, you will sabotage yourself. You'll hesitate. You'll make excuses. You'll find ways to reinforce the belief that you are not enough. But the moment you shift your identity, everything else follows. If you start seeing yourself as a winner, as someone who takes massive action, as someone who follows through, your behavior changes automatically. It's not about forcing yourself to be disciplined. It becomes who you are. Think about people who stay consistent with their goals. It's not because they have more willpower than you. It's because they see themselves as the kind of person who gets things done. A person who is fit doesn't struggle to go to the gym. They just see themselves as someone who works out. A person who is successful in business doesn't hesitate to make bold moves. They see themselves as someone who takes risks and adapts. Their identity pulls them forward, while most people are fighting against their own limiting beliefs. The strongest force in human psychology is the need to stay consistent with who we believe we are. If you've ever tried to break a bad habit, but kept telling yourself, I've always been this way, or I'm just not that kind of person, then you know exactly what this means. Your brain will find ways to prove your beliefs right, even if they're holding you back. But the moment you shift those beliefs, everything else realigns. Most people try to change their results without changing their identity. They chase goals with the same mindset that created their problems in the first place. That's why they struggle. Instead of trying to force themselves to act differently, they need to start seeing themselves differently. Because once you truly believe you are someone who takes action, someone who follows through, someone who makes things happen, then you don't need motivation, you just act. It becomes automatic. This is why the most powerful change you can make is not in what you do, but in how you see yourself. It's why some people break free from their past and create an entirely new life, while others stay stuck in the same cycles year after year. The difference isn't luck, intelligence, or talent, it's identity. Your identity controls your behaviors, and your behaviors shape your future. So if you want to change your destiny, you must first change who you believe you are, because in the end, your identity doesn't just influence your future, it defines it.